is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Last week was a little bit of a revelation and something that's developing. And we're going to watch over the next 7 games if it continues in this direction. Javon Holland is developing. Jalen Phillips is developing. We're starting to see, Christian Wilkins has turned into a good player already. Van Ginkel is starting, he was already showing the first 2 years. Now it's starting to show a little bit more the last couple of weeks. I think he'll be fine. Raekwon Davis is playing well. Okay. Brandon Jones. I'm actually excited about Javon Holland and Brandon Jones. And then on offense, Waddle and Gesicki are terrific. They're fine. I think Waddle would be a Pro Bowl player in a real offense with a real line and all that stuff. But, it is what it is. Waddle's been fine. What's not developing is Eichenberg and Hunt and Jackson and Kinley. And Dieter was developing a little, but he got injured, so we'll throw him in there. And then there's no support for Tua because of the aforementioned offensive line issues, offensive line coach, offensive line coaches, and Flores' way of doing things. And so you're in this position now. And let me tell you something. And I've been talking about this for a while. And I know I'm called the Chris Grier cheerleader because unlike a lot of you out there who want to fire Flores and Grier and you want Ross to get lost, and I understand all of that because everything's gone to crap and I get it. I get all of that. But I've told you, there's no way that all these players are bad. Reggie McKenzie is a hell of a personnel guy. Marvin Allen is a hell of a personnel guy. And Chris Grier knows what the hell he's doing. These guys know personnel. So I'm going to trust them and not Brian Flores. And I'm watching the defensive players develop. But where are all your problems on offense? That's where you have no coaching. That's where you put all the youth. That's where you made the mistake of bringing in Brissett. That's where you made the mistake of ruining your relationship with Chan Gailey. Instead of listening to Chan Gailey, Brian Flores, you forced the square peg in the round hole. And the offensive coordinator's telling you the young man's not ready yet, but you threw him in there anyway because you lack a power to create relationships. See, the thing is, Brian Flores lived under the umbrella of Belichick. So while it's kind of like if you're just a henchman of the Godfather, and you're working for the Godfather, so everybody knows you work for the Godfather, so you're intimidating already. But it's not because they're intimidated by you; they're intimidated by the Godfather. And Brian Flores had that power in New England. He doesn't have that power here. Nobody looks at him as the Godfather. Down in Miami, there is a legitimate Godfather. There is a guy that people look at and say, okay, yeah, we know how the organizations run. Yeah, we know the rules. Like when Kyle Lowry talks about it, like, yeah, no, man, everybody knows that when you come here, yada, 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 it's all around the league. You don't go to the Miami Heat to go F around. If you go to F around in the Miami Heat, you're not going to have a lot of fun down there. In fact, they will know that you're there to F around and they don't want you there and you're gone. So you look at this situation, and I know Marvin Allen, I know Reggie McKenzie, I know Chris Grier picked all these players. So I'm watching the defensive players come through. And by the way, Minka developed and they drafted him. Laramie Tunsil developed and they drafted him. So this is all part of this personnel department making the decisions on the draft. Okay? Where Chris Grier and company effed up was in the hiring of Brian Flores. They didn't F up with the talent. I bet you if you get an offensive line coach, all of a sudden, Eichenberg and Hunt become really good players. Because I'm looking at it, I'm going, they just need to be rebuilt again. They need a grizzled, old offensive line coach with an experienced offensive coordinators to get them in position, to build their confidence back up again, to build them up fundamentally. And all of a sudden, a couple of these linemen, I warned you ahead of time, they're not going to hit on all the linemen, but at least 2 of these guys to 3 will end up being good. But they'll never be good under this coaching staff. They'll never be good under Brian Flores. It won't happen. And I, for one, don't want to see what I feel could be the best personnel department the Dolphins have had in a long, long time get destroyed. I think Chris Grier has done a marvelous job of adding guys like Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie. And they're part of these decisions. Whether it's Tua, whether it's Brandon Jones, whether it's Raekwon Davis, whether it's Van Ginkel, whether it's Phillips, all those guys were a part of these decisions.
This is the Big O Show. This is